Lakes Bridge, CXC scores released, and a full breakdown of the government's mid-year report. I am Rico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Tuesday news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The Demerara Harbor Bridge was closed for several hours yesterday after a collision with a passing barge knocked the retractor span out of alignment. While repairs are ongoing, the bridge has since reopened to vehicles under 10 tons in weight. This year, 68.5% of the 10,368 Guyanese students who took the CXC exams passed, an increase over last year's 66.3% passing. Meanwhile, 93.22% of the 671 students who took the CAPE examination passed. In 2021, 90.86% of the 723 candidates passed. Last night, two masked men robbed a pump attendant of $125,000 at the C. Mohabir and Sons car station in New Amsterdam, Belize. The police have no suspects in custody. 45-year-old Omar Khan of Better Hope, East Coast Demerara, died on Sunday after he lost control of his vehicle and crashed into a trench at Monrepo, East Coast Demerara. Today, 80-year-old Gordon Durant pleaded guilty to manslaughter after he was accused of killing his 50-year-old wife, Joan Durant, in June 2012. He was remanded to prison until September 15th. Ganesh Dhanraj also pled guilty to manslaughter as he is accused of killing his reputed wife, Dhanwati Ram, on April 5, 2017. He was remanded to prison until September 25th. Today, Aubrey Bob pleaded guilty to the murder of 64-year-old businessman Godfrey Shipio during a hit that was staged as a robbery in October 2017. The officer who allegedly ordered the hit, Derwin Eastman, is currently on remand and awaiting a trial. Coming up after the break, we bring you a review of the Ministry of Finance's mid-year report. But first, now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is this 2016 Suzuki Jimmy Sierra 4-wheel drive. It comes with regular and low-range 4-wheel drive, Bluetooth, mag rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $3.4 million, or pay as low as $700,000 down with around $67,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Piroji, Queenstown, Lot 2 Lamashu, and tell them the Rico sent you for this sweet deal. Are you a truck owner? Pay close attention. Avoid lengthy downtime when your truck broke down. Get high-quality DAF, International, Freightliner, Bedford TM, or Scammell truck parts at the lowest prices at Powered Automotive. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. This past Saturday, the Ministry of Finance released its mid-year report. The report states that for the year thus far, Guyana's economy grew by an estimated 36.4%, mainly on the strength of the oil and gas sector. The document also revealed that several sectors of the economy contracted, but the government report noted that the non-oil economy was estimated to have grown by 8.3%. Moreover, it predicts an overall GDP growth of 56% this year, with non-oil growth reaching 9.6% by year-end. So, let's look at it sector by sector. Starting off with sugar. As for sugar, despite the billions being pumped into the industry, it saw a 55.9% reduction when compared with the same period in 2021, which they blamed on the fallout of last year's floods, labor issues, and mechanical failure. In light of the poor performance, the report stated that sugar will contract by 29.5% this year. It must be noted that it was only in August that $3.4 billion in supplementary funding was approved for the ailing sugar sector, which added to the $6 billion it received earlier this year. Next is the fisheries sector. Despite efforts to revive the fisheries sector, the industry is estimated to have contracted by 19% in the first half of the year as a result of lower marine production. It estimates that the industry can contract by 29.8% this year. Rice production also dropped by 22.4%, with total production reaching 290,780 tons. Again, the Finance Ministry explained that this was a result of the continued 2021 flood impacts. As a result, the 2022 production target has been revised to 615,486 tons, and the industry now anticipated to grow at 7.8% this year. Next is manufacturing. Owing to the declines in output from the sugar and rice industries, the manufacturing sector is estimated to have contracted by 11.4% in the first half of the year. When we return from the break, we review the gold industry, the oil industry, and some of the surprising winners this year. But before that, your home is your most valuable asset. So before you sign on the dotted line, call Vgs Home Inspections. They are a licensed and insured home inspection company with professionals operating in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, and Westchester County. From electrical and plumbing issues to a leaky roof. If there's a fault in the house, VJS will find it using the latest industry technology, including infrared scanners, HD drones, and more. So, if you're buying or selling a home in New York, make the smart choice. Call VJS Home Inspections at 914-513-9356 and tell them Noriko sent you. Now for the gold industry. Lower declarations from small and medium-scale miners also accounted for a 1.5% decline in the gold mining industry during the first half of the year. Total declarations amounted to 236,728 ounces at the end of June, compared with 240,318 ounces last year. Nevertheless, the industry is now expected to grow by 7.4% this year. Now for oil. With the startup of the Liza 2 operations in the Sapa block, it is estimated that the oil and gas sector expanded by 73.5% when compared to the same period last year. In the first half of the year, 34.6 million barrels of oil were produced, compared with 20.2 million barrels during the same period in 2021. Given the success so far, the government predicts that total oil production will reach 93.6 million barrels by year end. However, the mid-year report also pointed out growth in 6 subsectors outside of the non-oil economy, that is, livestock, services, and construction, bauxite, forestry, other mining, and quarry industries. The livestock industry is estimated to have grown 4.2% during the first half of the year. The bauxite industry expanded by 31.9%, with the government predicting growth of 37.5% by December. Meanwhile, the forestry sector is estimated to have expanded by 47.1% in the first half of 2022. However, with log production sowing as concessionaries' quotas are used up, the expected growth rate for the sector is maintained at 13.5%. A significant increase in the other mining and quarrying sector was recorded. This sector is estimated to have grown by 36.3%, mainly pushed by sand use in the construction sector. Diamond declarations increased significantly from 18,432 metric carats in the first half of 2021 to 49,016 metric carats this year. Also boosting growth in the other mining sector is the production of manganese for the first time in decades. 193,665 tons of manganese have been produced, with a total of 378,000 tons expected by year end. The services sector expanded by 7.6%. Expansion in this sector is mainly driven by the wholesale and retail trade and transport and storage industries. The wholesale and retail trade activity was driven largely by the construction industry's growing demand for building materials. And yet again, oil and gas has mainly pushed the growth in the transport and storage sector. Overall, the service sector is now expected to grow by 6.3% this year. So, what does that mean in terms of tax numbers? Well, according to the report, internal revenue collections were recorded at 88.6 billion Ghana dollars, an increase of 12.5%. This was fueled mainly by higher collection of corporate tax, especially within the oil and gas sector. This also pushed the withholding tax collections to $22.8 billion, while personal income taxes collections amounted to $26.8 billion. Customs and trade collections increased by $1.1 billion to $13.4 billion in the first half of the year. However, VAT and excise tax collections declined by $6.9 billion to $43.2 billion. This is due to the government's efforts to reduce costs to consumers by reducing tax on certain items and eliminating in other categories. So that's a breakdown of the whole mid-year report in less than 10 minutes. I hope you appreciated that. And as usual, we're closing off with our viewers' poll question of the day. But before that, it might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our Uncut News Viewers Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. On Friday, I asked if our government should play a more active role in the oil industry, kind of like Suriname doing with their billion-dollar investment into their oil industry. Mark James says yes, why not? Guyana needs to control her own destiny. Laura Mipsum says Mideastern countries all nationalize their oil and it has profited them millions. It is part of our sovereign wealth and as such it belongs to all Guyanese instead of the current system that reinforces the colonial system of enrichment for these at the top while offering token assistance to the many. Nationalization allows all of the people to share our nation's wealth. Sadly, we as a nation might be too corrupt to achieve such a lofty goal. Selected Dollar Bill says, I believe our country should invest in trying to control our oil reserve. And finally, Dimitri V says Guyana should not only, but they have to, if they want the country to be prosperous in the future. Look at all the great wealthy oil countries in the world, like Qatar, Kuwait, and UAE. Countries which Guyana should be modeling its oil practices after. Every single one of them has their own government-owned oil company that manages their oil well. So, before we get to tonight's question, you can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy through Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for tonight's question. How do you feel about our breakdown of this year's mid-year reports? Would you like to see more episodes dedicated to budget breakdowns like this, or just stick to the daily news? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.